All right, everyone, welcome back into another Masters video. Today, we're going to be breaking down one of my favorite things to cover throughout Masters week, and that's going to be the office pool picks. Maybe it's your family pool picks, friend pool picks, spouse pool picks, whatever you're doing. It's always fun to cover this, guys. We're going to be going through each tier and give you guys the top picks and the thought process and reasoning behind those top picks. Now, the way I'm going to do this is by using the 9to5 database, which is the cheat sheet that I'm displaying here for you guys right now. I had the first tier pulled up right now, and I just want to break down kind of what goes into this. So each week, we kind of have 4 key metrics that we look at: recent form, course history, stat fit, and then specialist data. Specialist data is kind of just looking at all the unique characteristics for that week's tournament. For instance, Augusta is known for having fast greens. Augusta is known for playing as a difficult course. That's going into the specialist data. For a lot of you guys, that stuff is not going to matter. Okay, so I'm not going to try to touch on that too much and just talk about the top plays from each tier, but I did want to call that out. There's like data behind what we're going and getting into in this video. So with that, let's go ahead and jump on into that first tier. Along with the cheat sheet, I also just had this snapshot broken down for you guys as well, so you guys can just quickly and easily see who the top plays are. And so what you're going to notice is that Scottie Scheffler is just by far the best option. So we do have the average outright odds as well going into this, and I have filtered it down so it's just going by rank, so you guys can see that a little bit easier. And we also have the Vegas made cut percent in there as well. Just another avenue for you guys to use the best picks. Now, in simple, we should just be playing Scottie Scheffler. There's going to be more unique offers that we can be on later on in this video. And I say that because a lot of people are going to be on Scottie Scheffler because he's the clear and obvious option. Now, last year for the Masters, the thought process was, the game theory thought process was, if everyone is going to be on Scottie Scheffler, maybe we could potentially be on someone else like Xander, maybe Rory, okay? Whereas because the ownership is going to be spread out, I think we're just better off going with the extremely safe play that is Scottie Scheffler, okay? And I say that because he's had 4 straight top 10 finishes at the Masters tournament and has won twice. Now, he hasn't been nearly as much of a lock and load this year as he has been in years past. Like basically every major last year was kind of like, all right, we're probably just targeting Scottie a bunch because he's the best option. Again, the worry was how many people are going to be on him. Think about it, guys. Think about March Madness. I'm sure a lot of you guys watching this video, or girls, did a bracket. And a lot of you probably picked Duke. I didn't. Duke was one of the most, and on some sites, the most popular pick to win. And so I didn't play them in any. I went with Houston a bunch. I went with Auburn a bunch. And I went with Florida a little bit as well. Florida was heavily owned as well. And so now that has me in a pretty good spot. But because, again, I think the ownership will be spread out, the picks will be spread out among this group, I think you just go with Scottie Scheffler. It's as simple as that. Now, if you didn't want to play him, I think a lot of people are going to get to Rory. Rory has won a few times recently. So I have his recent form pulled up. He won the DP Tour World Championship. He won the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am, and he won at the Players Championship as well. Obviously, if you look at Scottie, that's something he did last year as well. The issue with Rory is he typically hasn't played this tournament all too well. It's not a course that typically fits his game. Now, he has been playing extremely well this year, so he's going to be the top stat ranked play, but did want to call that. But to me, if we're not going with Scottie Scheffler, the easiest click after that is actually Collin Morikawa, who also has tremendous course history here. 4 straight top 10 finishes, elite stat fit. He's coming in checking all the boxes. I talk about all those 4 key metrics, and when I say he's checking all the boxes, he ranks top 3 or better in all those key metrics, but still, Scottie's going to be the easiest click there. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and get into tier 2 here. Tier 2 to me is honestly pretty darn simple. We don't have to get too cute with it. And that's going to be, we're most likely just clicking on Russell Henley. And the nice thing about Russell Henley is he's pretty far down the list. I know people that follow golf are probably going to recognize his name and be like, all right, yeah, that's clearly the best option here. But a lot of people are going to see Jordan Spieth, and Jordan Spieth at the top of this like tier play or pool, and they're just probably going to click him just due to name value. And Jordan's probably the worst pick. The data is telling us that pretty much through and through. The Vegas odds like him a little bit more. I'm factoring that more into public money getting onto him. Jordan has not been playing well for quite some time. And Vegas made cut percent is kind of interesting. He actually has the worst made cut percent out of those golfers as well. So that tells you how unreliable he is. Whereas Russell Henley, guys, he has an 89% likelihood. Okay, so I know most office pools are going to be taking these 6 tiers, and you get 4 picks through those tiers. But typically speaking, the more players you can get across the cut line, the more you're going to be raising your floor with the fantasy points that you can score are. And Russell Henley is still, again, going to be the best option. Let's go ahead and look into that in a little bit more detail. Now, I do want to call it that I do have this sorted by DraftKings salary. So a lot of you are probably familiar with DraftKings Sportsbooks, which just does a lot of betting stuff. This is their daily fantasy sports site with their salaries, which is a similar contest type to the pools, the office pools that I'm talking about here, where it essentially becomes a tiering system. So this is kind of wanted their pricing for it as well, you could just go with the golfer that one either has the best odds to win or two has the best salary, the highest salary, and just as easy as that. But I'm saying don't do that, okay? Russell Henley is kind of the clear-cut option to me, just simply because he's arguably been playing like the fifth best golf in the world, okay? Pull up his player profile here, guys, and he has been someone that has been on a massive make cut streak, okay? So that's why he has that high likelihood to make the cut. 19 straight make cuts. At this tournament, he has good enough results, okay? So he's made 3 straight cuts at this event with a top 5 finish. His recent form has been good as well. So he won at the Arnold Palmer Invitational and followed up that win with a 30th at the Players Championship, which we would want a better finish out of him. But typically speaking, golfers coming in after a win, we're expecting not as good of results. And prior to that, guys, he had been in some great form. So a 10th at the Sony, 5th at the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am, and then obviously a 6th in the first. So plenty of top 10 finishes in there. That shows his upside. But on top of that, he's going to be the 3rd best stat fit in the field. I don't need to get into the details of what goes into the top stats, but that's just an indicator of his likelihood to have success at this event. So think about it in like NFL terms. If you have, let's say, Derrick Henry going against the league's worst rush defense, a defense that gives up a lot of rushing yards, then you would expect Derrick Henry to have a good game because he excels in that stat, okay? And so that's kind of what we're looking at there with the stat rank. So Russell Henley is the top pick in this tier. Now, I do want to call it as well. We do have some live golfers in the mix here as well. Terrell Hatton is someone that does pop. You have Joaquin Niemann there as well. I think those both are going to be fine clicks, to be honest with you. The issue that we have with live golfers is they tend to play worse in majors. About 7% worse is their average finish difference. So last year, if you took where they finished percent-wise and then on live and then looked at that compared to their majors last year, about 7% worse. And if you were to take out Bryson out of that mix, it'd be much worse than that. And so I'm kind of just saying, I'm okay. I don't need to play the live golfers. We know what we're getting with the PGA Tour players. Russell Henley, again, is that easy click. So for tier 3, I do think it's a little bit more of a simple choice here as well. We could get cute and go with someone like Seb Straka, but I think we're going to be just clicking on someone like Corey Connors, who is the top ranking golfer in this mix. He also has some pretty good odds in comparison and does have one of the better make cut percentages here as well. And so again, just showing you guys the whole tier on the 9 to 5 cheat sheet. We are going to notice pricing wise again that DraftKings is kind of going more of name value a little bit with their pricing. So Willie Z, Will Zalatoris, Cameron Smith, Akshay, and then we get to Corey Connors. Now, Corey Connors is interesting. Okay, so 38th at this event last year, which was a big disappointment, and he missed the cut at this tournament 2 years ago. Prior to that, he actually had 3 straight top 10 finishes. We see that with the 6th and 8th place finish at this tournament 3 and 4 years ago, which is what this is calling out here, guys. This is his course history here. I should have mentioned that earlier for those who aren't familiar with this tool. But if we scroll down to his recent form, that's going to be the most appealing thing here with Corey Connors. Not only has he shown upside at this tournament in the past, but he also has done that recently on the PGA Tour. So over his past 4 events, 18th at the Valero Texas Open last week, 8th place finish at the Valspar Championship, 6th at the Players Championship, and then 3rd at the API. So all of that points to him being a pretty good play. And he also is someone that is a top 16 stat fit as well. So just across the board, I think he is the easiest click. Now, you could get to Seb Straka, who also is going to be someone that is a good stat fit here, has been playing really well on the PGA Tour. 8th best form actually coming into this tournament. His course history is not bad here as well. So he is someone we can get to. Now, I will say, if you want to get to Cam Smith, you guys can do that. I wouldn't blame you as well. But I do think he's probably going to be the most popular click in this range. So again, it's a little bit of game theory. If a lot of people are going to be on him, I'd rather just get to a similar and slightly better option in Corey Connors than Cam Smith. But if you guys want to go with Cam Smith, I wouldn't fully blame you as well. Okay, so now we get down into tier number 4, and this is where it does get a little bit more difficult. Keegan Bradley, to me, is the best option here. I know the data actually likes Patrick Reed a little bit more. Patrick Reed is someone that has had tremendous results here at this tournament, and so that's what it'd be chasing. Daniel Berger is an interesting player as well, someone that's been playing better golf recently as well. But to me, this is kind of clearly you're going Keegan or Patrick Reed. Patrick Reed is a live golfer, though, just as an FYI. I'm kind of okay with that given where he's ranked tier-wise. So I just have those 2 golfers pulled up, Keegan and Patrick Reed. Okay, Patrick Reed, we would just be targeting because of his good course history. 12th, 4th, 35th, and a top 10 finish as well. All I have coming in are his PGA Tour stats that he's occurred on the PGA Tour majors and whatnot. Pretty good data coming in there. Keegan Bradley is someone that has been playing some great golf, though, throughout the whole season thus far this year and has good enough course experience and course history here. Course experience is pretty big, guys. Anyone that's made starts at this course does a little bit better. It's a tournament in which you need to have experience and played competitive rounds on it to be successful, and Keegan certainly has done that, finishing top 25 over the past 2 years here. He's also someone that is in pretty good form as well. Last week, kind of lackluster, honestly. The Valero Texas Open occurred last week, finished 47th there. Had a terrible weekend. It was pretty windy last week. If it is going to be windy again for the Masters, he would be someone maybe you don't think about getting to. And actually, that would actually help out someone like Patrick Reed a little bit more if it becomes a windy event. I'm not going to get into the weather just yet. It's Monday as I'm recording this video. No need to do that. But yes, Keegan Bradley does have some pretty appealing form after that. 20th at the Players Championship, which at this tier we would take. 5th at the API Arnold Palmer Invitational. Has multiple top 10 finishes here, recent form wise. So we do like that there from him. I'm leaning towards Keegan. If you guys want to go read, I also wouldn't blame you there as well. So we're getting into tier number 5 now, and tier number 5 is difficult. Okay. We had this happen at the Players Championship where there was like 2 tiers where I'm like, it's kind of a toss-up. Let's just chase some upside. That's kind of what I'm thinking here with this tier. But also, I do think we have one kind of safe click here as well. And that is going to be golfer Lucas Glover. Okay, Lucas Glover is interesting. Okay, he's not like a big name player. No one will probably be on him that isn't watching this video. Okay, so maybe there's a little bit of risk with that. If he ends up missing the cut and someone else in this range does go off, you're kind of losing to the field there. But chances are he's going to be a good enough option. Okay, so again, looking at that course experience, he's finished 20th and 30th at this event, which we like to see. Again, looking at the form as well, the form has been pretty darn good. Kind of hanging my hat on that. 8th at the Valspar Championship and 3rd at the Players Championship. It is worth calling out, guys, that competitively, the Players Championship is a much more difficult event as well compared to the Masters that has a reduced field. And so chances are made cuts are typically easier at the Masters. And so the fact that he finished 3rd at this event is awesome. Now, it is worth calling out. I've been on Lucas Glover a decent amount this season for betting purposes and PGA DFS purposes. The 2 weeks I was on him the most were the 2 weeks that he sucked. The Waste Management Phoenix Open and the Cognizant Classic. So take that for what it's worth. I'm on him a lot again this week. And so if he bites me again 3 times, it's shame on me this time if that does occur. But to me, he's kind of game theory wise and just on paper, he is the best of the options in this range. Now, I do want to show you guys the rest of the tier here because name value wise, Lucas Glover probably has the least amount of name value. Okay. Maybe Taylor Pendrith has a little bit less name value because he's kind of a newer face. Taylor Pendrith actually is not a terrible option, but again, he's someone that doesn't have course experience here. That's what this is denoting here. So course history, key stats, recent form, and then just the projection data. We're showing that he doesn't have any course experience here. Okay. So tougher to get to. You could go with Matt Fitzpatrick, but he has been terrible with his recent form, guys. 2 miscuts in a row. Adam Scott's been unreliable. Sam Burns has been unreliable with terrible course history. Billy Horschel, if you guys watch TGL, you know who Billy Horschel is with his bad Dirty Bird dance moves. If you haven't watched that, I would say watch the clip on like Twitter, actually search it. It's interesting, but it's also kind of painful. So don't do it to yourself. Phil Mickelson's interesting. Again, I don't have any live data going into this, which is a separate tour where some of the old PGA Tour players like Phil Mickelson are playing on now because they got paid a lot of money. They're no-cut events, and so with that, they're typically not as competitive. And so they typically finish about 7% worse compared to their live golf starts. But he is coming in off of a pretty good start on the live tour, which they had an event last week. He is someone that has had some pretty darn random results in majors. Okay, 2 years ago, his second place finish statistically was pretty darn random. Phil Mickelson winning the PGA Championship a few years back was one of the most random statistical things to ever happen in sports. Okay, so that is worth calling out. I'm not getting to Phil. He is probably the biggest name here. I think people will be trying to click on him. I think you can actually gain a huge advantage here with going with Lucas Glover. And so now we are going to be jumping into tier number 6. Tier 6 is extremely difficult this week. Okay, so last year at the Masters that are in this tier are just afterthoughts. They're happy to be here. Okay, it's the best way to sum it up. And we're really not getting any really good options. There's one clear one to me. It's not Michael Kim. It's actually going to be Denny McCarthy. So guys, Denny McCarthy is a golfer that does have course experience here. Okay, so he finished 45th at this event last year, which we'll take a make cut in tier 6. We will certainly do that. He is someone that is coming in with pretty good form as well. Finished top 20 at the Valero Texas Open last week, top 20 at the Players Championship, and then top 20 at the Arnold Palmer Invitational. We also see a 5th at the Farmers, and then another top 20 at the Waste Management Phoenix Open. In simple, he has some pretty darn good form for a golfer that is in tier 6. 15th best form in the field. Now, again, that's not including live golfers because, again, it is more difficult to do that. I would rather just use my knowledge of those live golfers to know which ones to be on. But in simple, Danny McCarthy is in good form. He's also, again, going to be a good stat fit. Overall, a pretty good play. And so to me, he does have both safety to make the cut for you guys, but also a little bit of upside to potentially top 20, given how good of a play he has been lately. Okay, so I'm going to jump into the best picks again, guys, just highlighting those, giving you guys the quick breakdown of that. But first, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to give a like to this video. That does help out a lot. If you guys would like to subscribe to the channel, you can as well. If you guys are someone that does play fantasy golf a decent amount and want access to stuff like that cheat sheet that I just showed you, or just more fantasy golf tools, you can head on over to 9to5sports.com and get access to all the tools available on the website. But let's go ahead and finish off this video. All right, so again, in tier number 1, I really do not think we have to get too cute with it. We should just be going to Scotty Scheffler because I think a lot of people will actually be spreading out their ownership. And so if we can get on Scotty Scheffler more than the field is on average, I want to be doing that. You could get to Rory. You could get to Collin Morikawa. Collin Morikawa would be my second option. Rory would be my third option. So if you're doing multiple office pools, you could maybe split it between those golfers. But I really think you should just be going with Scotty Scheffler. From there, tier 2 is actually pretty simple to me as well. Again, Russell Henley. And the thing I like about him is he's pretty far down the list. People might just glance over that. And because he's looking like the best option in this range, you should be gaining some pretty big edges there. Again, if you want to go with Joaquin Niemann, he should be a safe click for you. I wouldn't hate that. In tier 3, I do think Cam Smith is certainly a fine option for you guys to click on there. I wouldn't argue that at all. And I'm kind of torn between that because he should be a safe click, but I really think Corey Connors is going to be the best click there. You could also be getting to a little bit of Seb Straka, who I also don't mind as well. From there, we're going to go ahead and get into tier number 4. Tier number 4 does get a little bit more difficult. I am swaying myself a little bit towards Patrick Reed actually now, or Keegan Bradley. They're both the same. So if I had to choose, it would be Patrick Reed, but I'm going to put them both as yellow. That's going to be for you guys to decide there. To me, those are the 2 easiest clicks there, though, in that range. So from there, we go ahead and get into tier number 5. Tier number 5, again, guys, not a lot of people are probably going to be on him, but to me, it's kind of the easy click here. That's going to be Lucas Glover. Then we go ahead and get into tier number 6. Again, we have another clear and easy click there. If it doesn't work out, I'm kind of okay with that. That's going to be Denny McCarthy. All right, everyone. Thank you for watching this video. Good luck with all of your office pool picks. If you are someone that had success using these picks from last year or even at the Players Championship, let me know in the comment section below. I had a lot of fun comments last year from just a bunch of people saying they had success, and they were honestly some of my favorite comments to read from last year. So if you guys want to do that again, that'd be awesome. All right, thanks for watching. Good luck. And as always, let's keep cashing.